The wrestling news cycle is a crazy, crazy place, and a lot of things have come out on my Twitter and other people's Twitter this week that really cover a lot of things happening very fast that a lot of people are very unhappy with. There were a few things I was planning to report here that have become public knowledge since, so this will be quite a short video and I won't be covering anything more on, for example, Kairi Sane. Jumping in though, and please do leave a like before I do that, I want to talk about the reaction of WWE backstage regarding the rather large NXT spoiler that came out this week. In fact, yesterday I believe it was. This is not a topic that I'm going to talk about in any particular detail because I don't want to be here spoiling things. As a journalist, I let other people deal with that particular news. I like to watch wrestling without knowing what's going to happen. Unfortunately, despite not looking for this spoiler, I now know exactly what is going to happen because the wrestling world is filled with some not very nice people. The WWE are, of course, concerned. Standard policy at this point would be to have a quick conversation with the person who released the spoiler, who is, of course, a member of that roster, and then send out mandatory social media policy updates. This could go a bit further, unfortunately. I don't see anyone getting fired, but someone is going to get a monster telling off. In addition to the NXT spoiler, of course, someone on Reddit who apparently is trustworthy according to some sites that have worked with them before, has leaked the entirety of the second night of AEW Fyter Fest. This is apparently in retaliation. Why? Why are we here doing this? Can we not all take a step back and please, just let people enjoy things? Funny old world. As you can tell, my mood after such an intense couple of weeks, and a very bad June to be fair when it comes to the wrestling world, is not particularly high. These are the moments where I really don't enjoy my job. One thing I have been enjoying recently though is the New Japan Cup, which has been a very refreshing breath of fresh air. I've really enjoyed every round, every match. A shame my favourite Toru Yano was eliminated early, but Hiromu Takahashi has really delivered high and I've really enjoyed his work. One person who has got to the final is Evil. Not a nickname, it is of course his actual wrestling name. He is evil, and everything is evil. There was some talk, this is connected to the Kairi Sane news, that Io Shirai was someone who was also planning to leave once her contract lapsed. Now Kairi Sane will still be working a few dates while she covers her last few days before eventually moving back to Japan. Io Shirai is said to be keen on that, but has signed a contract that goes a bit further than what Kairi Sane has, which means that now she is of course the NXT champion. They are planning to have her defend the title a few times and have her involved quite large amounts. They considered several months ago the idea of reaching out to Evil and seeing if they could potentially get a deal done depending on how long his contract had left. That would of course mean that Evil would be moving to NXT, and that would mean that he and Io Shirai could work together there, because that is believed to be one of the primary concerns that Io Shirai has. To my knowledge, no actual contact has been made though, that was just a consideration at the time. The NXT ratings have been particularly high the last two times that they have come head to head with AEW. Part of this success of course comes down to the announcement of the Great American Bash taking place over 2 nights, week apart, and essentially at the exact same time as AEW's Fyter Fest. In addition to this, the introduction of Sasha Banks and Bayley to the brand, something which they have been trying to make happen for well over a year now, is something that is said to be a large part to blame for the boost in ratings that has come. I can't help but agree with that in many ways. Sasha Banks and Bayley are quite big names that will draw casual fans in. In addition to this, I know that Sasha Banks and Bayley have been working essentially since the tag titles were created to try and get some time in NXT, and they have been part of a long shortlist of people looking to do that. So we are likely to see a lot more of them down in NXT in future, at least while they are the tag team champions. This is apparently seen as vindication by Vince McMahon, who stepped in and made this decision that he might need to take a little more time and put a little more effort into NXT in order to ensure it continues to be AEW in the ratings. Slightly aside from NXT, in NXT UK there were releases and suspensions that were announced in the past week. This is not believed to be everyone that they are planning to release or suspend. They are still investigating a number of people, and if there is any police investigation to follow, there will be more names. Keep an eye out for one name in particular that might shock you a little bit. There are no changes to the card plan for Extreme Rules, despite the amount of people who have had positive COVID-19 tests. There was initially a concern that with the amount of backstage people who weren't available, they would struggle to put on the show in the same capacity. However, at the moment, because of the amount of time, people have had the 2 weeks to self-isolate or will have done soon and can thus get back to work. And finally, the Forgotten Sons have been off TV for a while, and the plan is to keep them off TV at least a little bit longer while they plan an effective re-debut, with certain aspects of the characters changed to be a little more fitting to what the WWE believes a lot of people in the locker room want to see. The Forgotten Sons, in particular Jackson Riker, have annoyed a lot of people backstage, and there is an expectation that apologies will have to be made. That is everything I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Tom Colohue, and thank you for joining me.